something I really want to know when I first started making Booktube videos. Hi everyone, I'm here today to talk about how to get your hands on ARC or proof copies of books. If you're not familiar with what an ARC copy is or a proof copy, it's basically ARC stands for Advanced Reader Copy, and it's basically a copy of a book that isn't fully finished that the publishers will send out to booktubers and press people and bloggers and things like that. I get sent books sometimes to review on my blog, sometimes I get sent them to review on my Booktube, and they often look different to the finished product, but they're sort of similar. This, for example, this one is a proof copy. So when the actual book of The Passengers is released, I'm assuming the cover will be slightly different. They normally have the name of the book on the front, but I can't say for definite because I don't know what this is going to look like when it comes out. But a lot of the time, books are sent out that are still sort of in the process of being edited, and sometimes things will be slightly different when the final book comes out, but they're sent out to people to get the reviews out there so that people know what books are coming. So that's basically what an ARC is. So how does one get an ARC? I hear you cry from afar. Yes, I hear you crying it. Let me tell you, it took a while for me to figure out how to get an ARC. And now I'm not talking about the emails and things that you get sent from different publishers offering you books, because you don't really do anything for that. The emails come to you and you either accept or decline. Or sometimes publishers have sent me books that I didn't know were coming, and you know, that's a complete surprise. You don't know that's arriving, and again, you're not part of that situation, they just get sent. But how do you actually actively go ahead and request a book should you want to review a copy, which is something that I wanted to know very much when I first sort of got a little bit of a following on Booktube. I still only have a small following, but I think one of the main things that you need to do is make sure that you do have some followers yourself. Don't be going around emailing publishers when you've got no subscribers saying, I've just started a Booktube channel yesterday and now I want to review X, Y and Z from you. Thanks very much. Because that's going to be awkward. Because if you don't have anybody watching, then there's nobody to watch your reviews, and so it would be pretty pointless for publishers to deliver you their precious books for you to decide, oh actually I've uploaded one video on Booktube and I'm not feeling it anymore, so I'm just going to keep these books and I'm not going to mention them, and that would be weird and awkward and inappropriate. So make sure that you've got a certain sort of subscriber level. I have seen it floating around on the internet, sort of different amounts. Personally, I wanted to play it safe, and I waited until I had, I think, 1,400-ish subscribers before I reached out myself to a publishing house to request a review copy. Now, that might seem quite a lot to some of you, that might seem not a lot to some of you, but I was already being sent emails from different publishers and being sent books to talk about. And I also have a blog which I've had for 5 years, so I had quite a readership on there as well. Just to your sort of personal situation, you might want to wait until you've got more. You might want to try when you've got less, but make sure you've got a decent sort of subscriber amount. I would say around 1,000 subscribers, to show that you really are interested in what you're doing, you really are planning on continuing down the Booktube path, and you are planning on talking about these books. At the end of the day, publishers want you to sort of sell their books. You are there to talk about books, get people interested in it, and get people to read their books. Only if you enjoy those books. Do not ever recommend a book that you didn't enjoy. If you think a book is appalling, don't say, oh, I was sent this book, it was absolutely fantastic, loved it. And then people will go and buy that book because you've said it was good. And if they read a book that is absolutely appalling and you've recommended it, you've lost yourself a subscriber there, because they're never going to trust you again. So make sure that when you recommend books, you're recommending books that are good and that you enjoy yourself, because books are an individual process, and something that you might enjoy, someone else might not. But if you have a few subscribers who know that they generally like the books you recommend, if you recommend another book and say it was a 5-star read for you, then they're going to know that there's a good chance they're going to enjoy that book too. Whereas if they generally like your reviews and they like the books that you recommend, and then you recommend a really appalling book because you were sent it, that's just no good. It hurts your subscribers, it hurts your reputation, and you're going to find your Booktube career going down the pan. But basically, to sum all that up, publishers are hoping that you are going to sell their book and you're going to enjoy that book. So make sure you've got a subscriber account before you start emailing. So Reaching out to a publisher can be quite daunting. It sort of feels a little bit cheeky, sort of asking for a book to read. But I mean, the worst thing that they can do is say no or ignore your email. That's not the end of the world. You can keep trying. Rejection is part of life. But if you are wanting to get in contact with a publisher, how I usually go about it is I sometimes see books that they are bringing out as proof copies on their social media accounts. So make sure you're following the social media accounts of your favourite publishers. I tend to prefer to follow them on Instagram, even though I don't have a huge following on Instagram, but they tend to do sort of Insta stories and you see a lot of the books that are coming out. And then what I tend to do is I read up a bit about it, and sometimes I pre-order these books that are coming out. But sometimes I might actually ask them if they've got any proofs available. And how I do that is generally I'll just drop them an email. Generally I'll just introduce myself, be friendly as usual, and just be like, hi, I'm Rosie. I have this channel, SparklesBooks on YouTube, and I also have a blog, Sparkles of Light, where I talk about books amongst other things, lifestyle related. But my Booktube channel is generally mainly Booktube, sometimes ghosty things, sometimes baby videos, sometimes, you know, lifestyle posts as well, but it's mainly books. I will then put in how many subscribers I have, how often I upload videos, and then I will mention the book that I am interested in reviewing if they have any proofs available. Sometimes you'll get a reply back and you'll get a yes, we've still got a few proofs available, and then you will receive the proof copy of the book that you're after. What I always do is I always link in with a tweet when I talk about a book that's been sent to me. So whether it be in a book haul, or whether it be in a book review, or whether I've put it into a different video altogether, like a for example, I did a beautiful covers video a while back, and I linked in a couple of the publishers there because I've been sent a couple of those books in the past. So just make sure you always link them in when you tweet out your reviews, or make sure that you drop them an email if you've been talking to them by email and say, I've mentioned these books in this video. Make sure you always mention the books that you have requested to receive or that have been sent to you, because that's just how you do it. You can't ask for a book and then never mention it again, otherwise you're going to find yourself blacklisted. So make sure that you actually put in the time and effort and don't request books that you're not going to read. It should go without saying, but don't be greedy and start requesting books from all these different publishers, because you won't have time to read them and it's just bad form, really. So that is basically all I have to say about how to request or receive proof or ARC copies. If you have any further questions, let me know. You can always contact me by email, or you can talk to me on Twitter, and if there's anything else you'd like to know, or anything that you feel I missed out, or anything that you feel I got wrong, feel free to let me know, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.